started spending this, I think, I don't know, it's like over budget, $7 million a year the last couple of years.
All right, we got I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everybody to our commissioner meeting. I'll ask for a motion to accept the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
I'll abstain.
Okay. Claims,
I'll make a motion we approve the claims as written.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Health Department.
We have nothing this time.
Okay. Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, I come over here for Sherry. We're looking to purchase a 7x14 enclosed trailer for storage because, as everyone's aware, for the past several years, we get dinged on our storage, on our jail inspections. So we sit down and talked about it, and we actually talked with the insurance company, and we can do a 7x14 or whatever we need, an enclosed trailer, and that will be functional until we expand or whatever, because we're not going to be able to create storage. But in future use, it can also be used for like when they do firearms training, we can take things out and yet, we've got the funding. We don't have to ask for an additional or anything like that. We already have the funding. We're just basically asking for your all's permission because it will be added to the insurance, obviously,
I'll make a motion that we add a 7x14 trailer for the sheriff's office.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
I will second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thanks,
That's
Scott.
all we had. Thank you.
Highway Department.
Well, I didn't think I had much of anything, but I do have the Old State Road 45 overlay project contract with SJCA to be signed today. Do you have anything you need to add to it?
That's it. And Doc reviewed it and approved it, so now we just need your signatures.
I'll make a motion that we accept and sign.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Everything right
All
here.
those opposed?
So what does that make it now? Our fourth NDOT federal grant dollar project.
For paving, we also had a sign project prior to that, but that's the fourth paving one. There were 3, 100 East, and then now the 045.
Then the only other thing that I have.
Is there only one document?
Yes.
Just one. John Wayman down at Hatfield, he got everything recorded for the Jesse Street drive there, the road to start on the rock this morning. So just wanted to let you all know what was going on there. He didn't want to start anything until he got all that taken care of. Thank you.
All right. Anything else, Dale?
Well, that's all that I had this time.
Okay.
So with that Wayman project, I know that the minutes state that gravel should be put all the way to the end of what is Bullittstown Road.
Pulled down 900, yes ma'am.
Is it possible that we make a recommendation to put the gravel as needed, since at this time there are 4 houses there that are under roof on Jesse Street? By extending this section of Jesse Street for an emergency turnaround until we have other lots sold to.
It's a ghost.
I'm asking
Yeah,
my board.
I'm thinking because I feel like
because we made the motion.
there are road guidelines as far as cul-de-sacs, and if we do a cul-de-sac, does that go outside of what is surveyed? Because it's 30 feet. What is a cul-de-sac? Do you know off the top of your head?
I thought we had it set up to go straight through.
We did, but she's
We got it
saying.
set up to go straight through.
We've made a motion to the county to put the road in all the way through. My recommendation is, because there aren't any lots sold past the lot there now, to extend it as time goes on. That's the only thing that I'm asking. The motion is made to put gravel all the way to Bulletttown Road. My concern is, we could be building a road that doesn't go anywhere.
Does it make sense from an efficiency point, though, if we have all the equipment there and we have the labor there, that it makes sense to go all the way through though?
Well, it really doesn't follow what our subdivision ordinance states in regards to only putting gravel down, but since we're making all the,
We have hashed this out many a time.
I'm just making the statement. It is
I mean, I
motion
see-
to pass.
I see your point of going to where the lots are sold to, just going past where somebody can turn around at this point. But I don't know, that's totally up to you all, that's your all's decision.
What's the extra distance right now, if versus stopping versus all the way through?
I'm not sure how far the lots are right now, to what they've got. I haven't been down there to check that part. I just know that they do have it staked off and flagged off the right of way of 30 foot. I do know that.
I think, my personal opinion, I think the original motion of all the way through, if we've got the equipment there and we've accounted for materials, let's go all the way through. That's what was originally planned.
I'm good with that. Put it all the way in.
Thank you, Dale, for bringing it to our attention.
All right, anything else?
That's all
Okay,
that I have.
okay. Sign hold.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here to present the renewal for the insurance, and I have some packets here I'll pass out.
Oh, thank you.
So in the folder, we have several items here that we're going to go over. And the first thing I'm going to do is just go over kind of where you are through 9 months of your utilization on the plan. So, and then, pardon? Okay, and then Chris is going to go over actually the renewal presentation once we get to it. So just a quick snapshot, how your plan has run. And you know, we've been here a couple of times throughout the year telling you how things were going. And basically this shouldn't come as a surprise, but your increase for your cost is up about 17.5%, but also your membership is up 2.5% with utilization at 99.6%. That is pretty phenomenal, how much your utilization you're having on this plan this year. So out of all of the utilization, your top 10 claimants have driven close to 45% of all of your claim spend. So when we factor in the utilization and the member increase cost, that does tell you that you've had a pretty significant increase this year on your plan's expenditures and membership. So basically, some of the cost drivers are related to some of the top 3 claimants, which have had, I'm kind of jumping, I talked about membership and utilization, so we're going to just go down to cost drivers. So out of the cost total spend, your 10 members have spent $574,642, with the largest claimant experiencing $106,000 in claims. And then the other top 3 claimants, out of those 10, have experienced at least $70,000 or greater in claims expenditures. This is just a combination of inpatient utilization, surgical outpatient costs, as well as a lot of high pharmacy costs. Your number 1 claimant, it does have a high cost pharmacy drug. I think you're going to talk a little bit about that here in a second. You can see in the next category for inpatient spend, about 24% of your claims costs were for inpatient charges. The second highest one was for surgery center. For these claims that were incurred between January and March, which was a spike in your utilization. On your pharmacy, and if you want to jump in here on the pharmacy cost, that is your highest cost driver on your claims expenditure, with a total spend of around $350,000, $345,000, and your top claimant, that $118,106 claimant, is due to a large cost drug.
Yeah, so right now your pharmacy spend is about 27% of your overall spend, which from a market perspective is pretty close to average right now from across a lot of groups of your size. Unfortunately, the top drug, we haven't been able to find a sourcing outlet that makes it less expensive. The other higher drug, we're working on some outsourcing through international, also through the 340B program through the hospital as well. So we're working on some of those things, but overall, 27% is about where the average is as far as pharmacy versus overall spend.
On the next page, we're just highlighting some of the spend for emergency room services, and so I have some suggestions on that when we get to the end here. Also on your network that we have in place, you still have great utilization as discounts for your inpatient physician services at almost 58% on discounts, and for facility you have almost 43% on your discounts, and not a lot of out-of-network utilization. So again, once he starts going over the renewal, you'll see, if we look at like last year on where you were running as far as reinsurance was concerned, you were running about 88% of expected claims. The year before, you were running about 87% of expected claims. This year, you're running 117% of expected claims, and that's only through this 9 months of data. So some of the suggestions that I had, I can go over after he presents the renewal, but I did show over here on the left-hand side of your folder some examples about education for your members to possibly think about using an urgent care facility over an emergency room facility, and some of the opportunities we can provide these flyers as educational information to your department heads to pass out, to post in the break rooms, etc. I do have a report that I can provide for utilization, which was non-emergent, that I have that shows what the plan has spent for non-emergent care. It's de-identified, so I'm not sharing any confidential information, but here's all the ER charges that were not considered emergent care and some of the diagnoses associated and what the plan paid for those non-emergent care services. So I think if we could provide these flyers out to the membership, and also I put in here another educational flyer about the use of Teladoc, because you do have that benefit that members could, just as a reminder, to possibly, use your Teladoc benefit that you have, which is a virtual. They can call on their phone, they can go to their computer and use this. It's very simple and easy. So those are a couple of opportunities to try to educate your population about using other avenues over an emergency room type scenario. And then I do have in the left-hand side an opportunity for a near-site clinic through Deaconess that could be used for Deaconess Rio Clinic, and then any other Deaconess clinic that's available out there. You can see that they offer 40 hours of service where you can, a member and any covered employee's dependent can go and have these services. It would include all of the, if you look at the last 2 pages, all of these medications would be in the per employee per month fee, as well as the labs that they can draw there.
This is an employer clinic separate from health.
Yeah, it's totally separate, but it's a way to like bend the curve to help move plans off of, move cost off the plan. Of course, this doesn't come free, but there is a proposal in here. We can bring Deaconess Clinic here on site at the next meeting after you review the proposal if you want to talk more about it. It comes out to $51 per employee per month for a total annual cost of $79,560. That includes 40 hours a week for employees, spouses, and dependents. And they can use Rio Clinic or any other Deaconess Clinic, near-side clinic, and get these services at no cost to the member for these labs and for these pharmacy drugs. Again, it's something to consider, something you might want to have another meeting about, but I did want to present that as an opportunity. So now that I've presented some solutions, I'm going to turn it over to Chris to maybe go over the renewal that we have for you to
And
go.
also what you gotta understand, in the years that we've been doing this, and Dave can speak up about this too, we've had years where we've been great, and then every once in a while, you're gonna have a year or two where things don't work right.
That's exactly
And
how
that's kind of
self-funding
where we're
works.
at in this year.
Yes,
But we go back over the years and we have saved money to
Yes.
take us past this point to get us through these years
Yes.
where we're not having good years.
yeah,
That's accurate, yeah.
Yeah.
So usually self-funded health plans, one every 3 to 5 years are gonna be a tough year.
Yep.
A spike increase year. So this was kind of the year for that, I think, for Spencer County. If you guys pull this out, this is the reinsurance renewal. So when you look at this is when you have to, we're buying protection, right? When you're self-funded health plan, you're buying protection against high claims, you're buying protection against claims as a whole. So what you're seeing here is a renewal and then some other options from some other competitive. We went out to probably 15 different stop loss carriers or reinsurance carriers to see what we could find. We got a lot of declines because your pricing was pretty on point and competitive. We also got a few that were out of whack as far as competitively priced. So you have a couple options here. Your current carrier is IOA Reinsurance, as you can see there. Option 1, does everybody see option 1 there? That's your current program as it is. You have a $60,000 specific deductible with $150,000 aggregating specific. And then you go on down, and what I want to point out is at the bottom, you guys see where grand totals are at the bottom there? So grand totals on the fixed costs, everybody see that? If you keep the plan as it is, the program is going to be at about a 6.5% on the fixed costs. So the fixed costs are the premiums that you pay to have the protection over the course of the year to limit your financial exposure, right? So the fixed costs are up about 6.5% if you keep it as is. The next option with IOA Re is if you were to increase your specific deductible by $5,000, it lowers your fixed cost to 1.08% over current. So almost flat, right? An increase of about $4,000 annually. Everybody see that? That's by increasing your specific deductible by $5,000, meaning you take on an extra $5,000 in risk on any high-cost claim, which we had, I think, a handful this year of high-cost claims that were over that limit 3. The next part of that is your max liability. Does everybody see max liability? So that's the county's total liability, all in, right? So your maximum liability, if you were to keep the program, is $2.45 million, which is about 16.8% over current. Now that's your liability. Claims, as we know, are variable every year, like Mr. Seiler mentioned earlier. You have some good years and you have some not so good years. So your liability is increasing because your claims were increased. I think it was a 17.5% increase year over year from a claims perspective. Okay, so your liability goes up. Now, if you increase your specific deductible by $5,000, your liability actually goes down in total. So your premium goes down by about $19,000. Your exposure goes down total by about $2,000. IISI came in with a proposal as well. Those are the next two proposals there. They match the benefits of your renewal plus an increase in a $5,000 specific deductible. As you can see, they are very close within dollars of each other, right? So not a lot of difference here. These are the two by far the most competitive proposals that we both found. I went out to some markets that I have. Carolyn went out to their markets as well, and these were the proposals that we came back with. So from a fixed cost perspective, from what we know you're gonna spend, you're within 6.5, all the way down to 1% over the current, what we know you're gonna spend in premium, right? Your financial exposure is gonna go up because the claims have gone up. We are working to try to mitigate some of the pharmacy exposure with international sourcing, as well as some 340B programs. We've seen a spike also, just so you guys know, in anti-diabetic medications. So one of the hot items out there in pharmacy world is GLP-1s, the Mounjaros, Ozempic type drugs. So we are seeing some of the spike in that. Still working to mitigate cost solutions on that as well. So this is for your review. Decision isn't required at this time. You guys are-
I do have a question. So, like we talked about, self-funded because there's a chance you come under, and we keep breaking through that ceiling. What would a fully funded plan look like in comparison? Like, the risk versus the reward.
Good question. So fully insured, meaning that the insurance company takes on the risk, right? So whenever you have a fully insured plan, in cases of larger groups like this, the fully insured, the insurance company has to guarantee their profit, right? So some of the largest buildings in any big city are going to be insurance companies. So I would guess you're going to be 15 to 20% higher than this because they
Higher
have to
than the
guarantee-
option 1 and
yeah,
2.
because they have to guarantee their profit year over year.
Okay, anything else?
So I just want to verify, the third column over, it says option 1, firm through as of
We can get that.
today.
We can get that extended.
That is
That's
with the,
IISI. And they're
the
not even-
competition.
It's not the most competitive proposal, but we can get that extended if we need to.
the incumbent is, of course, your current carrier, and they're firm through the end of the month. This was a competition, and just because they don't have all the exposure and experience, they need additional claims through the end of May, because we just turned over to June, so they'll need to look at those numbers and see if they can keep their proposal as is based on the information they got through May. And that's just how it works with
Yeah.
all the carriers. As the months turn over, they want to see, did a new cancer diagnosis pop up on claims? If so, we need to factor that into our numbers, because now we're on the risk for potential high-cost claimant. That's just how it always works. But thank you for the question. And then once you have a chance to look at the Deaconess Clinic work proposal, if you want me to bring them back to the next meeting, if there is an interest, I didn't want to bring them today because I didn't even know if there would be an interest in something like that. But it is a benefit for all of your covered members, employees, and spouses. They would use the Rio Clinic here and any of the other clinic locations they have listed. I know there's one in Jasper, there's several in Evansville, so there's more that they're opening up. So if there's an interest, I could bring them to the next meeting if you would like to talk to them and have questions about it once you've had a chance to review it.
Okay.
I have an immediate question on it, tier 1 and tier
Okay.
2. So where it says near site services 40 hours a week, can you explain that?
Yes, so they guarantee that they would give, for this $51, you're going to be guaranteed 40 hours every week for all of the members to come in and have visits.
What if we're at like 45 and little Timmy breaks his?
I'm sure they'll work with you.
Okay.
It's just a guarantee for that $51. And then also, if you do go with this, they will discount your wellness screenings that you have every year for your wellness visits, or the biometric screenings that you do for your wellness plan, that will be discounted as well. So, but that's just, they have to put an hours there so that they can program their nurses and LPNs.
Yeah. That's the only, I guess, concern I have immediately about that, because the whole idea of this is to reduce the ceiling, right? Like, because the next year's determined by the ceiling, and that would be a way to reduce the ceiling. But if it's
Comes at a
first
cost.
come first,
Right.
if it's first come first served, and then there's
And so when they talk about the hours too, a lot of that is how they're staffing those facilities,
Okay.
right? That's what-
And you can call and schedule appointments. It's not like just walk in like an urgent care. People can schedule their, wellness visit there. I know my employer offers Deaconess Clinic at work. I get my wellness visit there. It doesn't even hit my insurance. and I'm out of pocket nothing. They draw the lab right there. I go in fasting and draw the lab there and do my physical there, and it doesn't hit my health plan. So it definitely, they can schedule appointments. They can, call and say, do you have an opening in the next 15 minutes? I need to get in. I mean, that would be things that I feel like Deaconess would be better to answer than me. I just know from my experience of how I've used it, it is very beneficial. And like I get my, I'm on high blood pressure medication, so I get my blood pressure medication there. I mean, it's only like $7 or $8, but I get it there free now. So that saves me $7 or $8 on that list of medications that they provide to members. And again, that if that $7, $8 is an impact for your members that are on blood pressure medication and they're not taking it because they're not paying that, and they can get it there free, maybe they'll be more compliant with their blood pressure. So it's something to think about. And I think for the annualized cost, I mean, that's cheaper than an ER visit.
Right, yeah. I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Legal report.
All right, this Thursday, I've got a meeting set up with the Opportunity for Economic Development, an issue you guys and I have discussed. I just want to make sure that's on your radar. We fielded some employment questions throughout the last couple weeks, including most notably from the coroner's office, and then I've discussed with each of you a desire to have more of a comprehensive approach to data centers and be prepared for those in the future. So at the next commissioners meeting, you can be prepared that I'll come with a draft of that as well. That's it for now.
All right. Old business, credit card request.
The judge's office has completed the necessary forms for a credit card, and the reasoning is travel and work-related expenses when they are traveling. Everything still falls under our handbooks and all the procedures and policies that we have in place, but they have made that request.
All right. Do you need-
Yes, I'll make a motion that we accept their application and request.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? New business, ordinance 2026-06. Kay?
At our meeting Thursday night with the Advisory Plan Commission, Tenaska had been there asking for a rezoning of 80 acres out on 400 North, and we have the ordinance there for you all to sign. This, we said A, but if you choose to sign it. Our recommendation, bring to you, was for you all to approve the rezoning of the property.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance number 2026-06
Right, we have, I'm sorry.
for the rezoning from R1 to an I2 for legal parcel.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second? I'll second it.
I'd like to have some discussion.
All right, discussion.
Dave's here. Dave, I got a couple questions. One thing, that we've talked about and been very transparent about is the use of water, right? Aquifer versus river. You've done some preliminary studies, or you've pulled some preliminary studies. When do you expect a hydrology report to be returned?
That's hard to say. First of all, Joe's kind of the expert, and Joe wasn't able to be with us today. But I can tell you that there's a couple of different layers to it. So we've kind of done a very preliminary high level, and we're kind of going into what we're calling phase 2 right now, which is where it's essentially studies that are based off of current data from like U.S. Geological surveys and things like that. Once we get that, then essentially at some point we'll get into the test well phase, which is where we actually get down there to verify that the data that we're showing about not adversely affecting anything is actually true. So I don't want to be held to this number, but I would say probably 8 months to a year when you consider the wells. But again, that's not my area of expertise, so I'm just going off of what I've heard.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, the catch 22 for us is, you know, protecting the resources, but, you know, we can't regulate what's regulated at the state. I just, you know, that is a concern that I have of, you know, what this hydrology report would show or what the drawdown would be, and if there are thresholds, and I know your environmentalist isn't here, but do you anticipate that there is a threshold in a drawdown where, you know, you guys have got together and said, you know, at this point it doesn't make sense because of the drawdown?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. At the end of the day, this is going to sound, I don't know, this is probably not going to sound, it's going to sound arrogant maybe, but we're actually more concerned about it than you guys are. And the reason being is from a business perspective. It's that, well, I mean, you know, I guess not more than you, but essentially though, I mean, this is going to be a $1 billion plus project. And every single aspect of this thing is going to need to be verified internally that we're not going to have any adverse effects. So essentially, if we go, even on an unregistered well that's near us, if we start adversely affecting that well, the state has the ability to come in and curtail us.
Yeah.
And if that happens, that curtailment could be a very pricey fix, or it could be uncurable, at which point we would be able to operate. So, you know, we've got $1 billion plus on the line here if we don't get this right.
And maybe because we've talked about this, because there's a lot of unregulated wells in Spencer County, just because there's homesteads, and that's going to be a part of your second phase of your study in the draw. Not just the DNR wells from the last 30 years, but it could be some from.
Yeah, it's my understanding that at some point in the investigation phase, we actually we'll send letters out to all of the neighbors in the area and ask them about their water usage. Do you have wells registered? Is it unregistered? What's your usage? So that we can help to create a more accurate picture.
And then, what about some of these permits? Have you applied for some of them, or are you?
We haven't applied yet, just because we're still doing the studies. Okay. Some of these permits we're scheduled to start going out for probably in October, November. When you look at the timing of getting the permits versus what we need to know before we get the permits versus when we're going to start construction, it kind of fits in to like the October, November to the following October, November range. So some of these permits are, you know, half a year. Some of these permits are a full year. Some of them could even go a little bit longer than that.
Okay. And then, you know, one of the other questions I have, and we talked about it the first day you guys came here, is have you worked any more on your procurement? You know, have you done any agreements with any local unions to, that way, if this goes through, that they have contracts here for some of those, maybe temporary, maybe not necessarily part of the 20 of the operation, but.
I can't commit to anything right now, and the reason being is that when we build this, we'll hire an EPC company, engineering, procurement, construction company. There's only a large handful of them in the country that can build something like this, of which we know almost all of them and have good relations. We're already going through conversations with the various companies and going out and getting bids on the proposal. At the end of the day, the labor decision comes down to them. That's not for us to do. That said, the only thing I can say, and again, I don't want to be held to anything, is that the companies that we are having conversations with thus far have good relationships with unions.
Okay. You know, this is my first time going through this. So,
That's
you know, that's something that I battle with back and forth is, you know, a lot of these things, the air, the water, your discharge permits, those are all regulated at the state, and it's like, okay, well, I completely get the irony of being in local government. Then it's like, okay, well, we got to trust that the state government does the same thing, or they, you know, they work in our best interest. So, you know, one thing that I'm interested in especially is the water. Like, that's my number one concern, whether it's you, whether it's a data center, whether it's anything that's going to be a mega consumer and put a straw in their aquifer. Like, that's my number one concern. Would you guys supply Kay and us or Josh with a permit matrix?
Sure.
That shows,
Yeah.
you know, here's the permit, here's every permit that we'll need, here's, you know, anticipated application, and here's who not just has oversight of that permit, but also has like you said, some of the protections for domestic users. I know that's IDEM. I'm assuming DNR may have a part
Yeah.
somewhere in there,
Yeah.
but you know, that would be my biggest request, because on a lot of these things that are outside of our perspective from county commissioners, I know me personally, like, it bothers me, you know, just to make sure that the state, those are the two biggest resources we have, right?
Yeah.
And like you just said, we care more locally than somebody 190 miles away or whatever. So, you know, that's something that I would like to see from you guys as a permit matrix of what, when, who. That way, there's some transparency as you guys work through the process, that people can follow, like, where are you at? You know, what's going on? What does that look like? How is it going to affect me? Is there anything I need to be concerned about? Or is there, you know, does it alleviate a lot of the concerns with your applications? You know,
One
yes.
thing I want to capture for the record is the attorney who oftentimes prepares the matrix. And Melissa, if you wouldn't mind capturing something about it in minutes. Any legal advice we give to one specific site is not necessarily transferable to another site. So even if a permit matrix for this site is entered into the record, wherever it is recorded, that does not mean that any other gas plant in America or even Indiana is going to meet the exact same criteria. And so for
Right.
every site, I mean, almost all air permits, federal air permits are going to be the same. But I don't want another gas plant to look in the area and say, well, this is the permit matrix.
Yeah.
It should
Very
be,
specific to you.
but
That's my
specific
request.
to every client, so I don't want to put my work product out into the public forum and like, this is and someone misses a permit that they need later. So
Gotcha. Yeah,
just
no.
flagging for any and all complex
Yeah,
development.
just very specifically to your
Very
site,
specific to Rock
to Rock Hill. That way, you know, we can follow along, Kay can follow along, anybody around the project, they can follow along, because, you know, that would alleviate a lot of concerns if they can stay updated on, all right, well, they're gonna go to IDEM and request this, they're gonna go
Yes.
here and request this. There's, you know, I think that amount of transparency, I think, would be good for
Yeah.
a large project like this.
Yeah, no, that's fine, and to be honest with you, we have a permit matrix already,
Okay.
so it would be largely just grabbing what we already have when it comes to like air and water and things like that, and kind of just putting it together in a document for you guys, and then listing what, you know, some of the hurdles are on our end, some of the protections that are offered to you guys with that, so yeah, it shouldn't be too challenging to get that for you.
And Kay, you did say this passed unanimous, right?
Yes,
Okay.
well, we had one member that could not participate in the meeting because he has a conflict of interest, but it was 8-0.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
I'll just note, this does require as an ordinance 2 readings.
Even though it was unanimous.
Yes.
So
this is
we'll
the
need
first
to
reading.
bring it
Yes.
up at our
First reading, yes.
second.
Right.
I'll be back here soon.
So I don't really,
I don't know that we should
Yeah.
sign.
You got any white out?
And I'll just return it. One
All
back.
right. Go ahead, Tom.
So the,
think you can suspend the rules and pass it on first reading.
I think they know that,
No.
but I mean,
You want to suspend the rules?
I mean,
this is only for the zoning
Yes, it's only
of
for
this
zoning.
property.
It's not saying go do whatever.
Yeah.
God's name you want to do.
I'll make a motion to extend the rules on this zoning ordinance.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second? I'll second it. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed?
okay. Just to be clear, I think you voted to suspend the rules, so now there would be a second actual vote.
I'll make a motion to vote on ordinance number 2026-06 in regards to the zoning of the property parcel number 74-11-35-300-017.000-017 for zoning from an R1, and a request is made for an approval to be rezoned as an I-2, as was done in the area planning and zoning meeting Thursday night.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second? I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right. Thank you. All right. Anything else in new business?
I would like to ask that we welcome Linda Sturgeon as our VSO officer now in the Veteran Service Office. I don't know if Linda's here at this time, but I would like to ask that we welcome Linda. I also would like to ask that we discuss in our budget a comprehensive plan for this county to be, in fact, I would like to do it before the 2027 budget. A comprehensive plan for this county to review what areas of industrial, residential, what that looks like and how we can communicate to the county. I'm asking to make a motion to fund a comprehensive plan.
And I think you're suggesting, I don't know, maybe line item budget, but I assume this would probably be a vote to recommend to county council that they allocate that, unless you guys already have a
I don't know that we do
funding
have
or full run, but.
funding for them. We have to motion it so we can ask for the funds to the
Yeah.
council.
Okay, I'm a little off here. I mean, I thought that's what we had.
We asked for a strategic plan through economic development, which is different from a comprehensive plan.
I think with the breakneck speed of everything that's happening, it wouldn't be a bad idea to, I mean, there's things that are out there now that were not out there 4 or 5 years ago.
Well, how old is the comprehensive plan?
Finalized 22?
We did an in-house update in 2021, and then it was approved in 22. It was not I'm not
We did it, we did
consider
not
myself
start
a professional in comprehensive plans. But I think that it would be in our best interest as a county representing the taxpayers to ask for a comprehensive plan. I know that the previous commissioners have asked for a comprehensive plan. And that was 5 years ago.
Do we need to, Josh, should we get numbers first before we go for an ask, or how does this work? I mean, how would this work?
Well, I mean, I think, yeah, you guys either have to have it from an allocated budget fund, or if you don't, then county council needs to allocate,
Right.
through existing, but it's not uncommon for you guys to
Well, I
make a
wouldn't want to,
recommendation that they do, it's like a recommendation / request.
yeah, I just wouldn't want to
And
go.
then also, to the extent you want to do it this year, I would do that, if otherwise you can put it in your recommendation for the budget that's sent to county council for 2027, that's the alternative. But if you want to do it now, yeah.
My holdup would be if we said, oh, we're gonna go ask for this, and then we go and ask some companies to, how much they would bid us for a comprehensive plan, and then all of a sudden we use whatever we've set aside, and there's no, that would, if we said $100,000, and then mysteriously all these bids come back at $99,000, $98,000.
I don't disagree with you, I just think it's a topic of discussion at the table, and I also think there's a lot of work in getting quotes. I don't have a problem getting the quotes. I just think that
We could do an
before
RFP.
one person goes and gets quotes in regards to a comprehensive plan, I would hope that I would have some support from this board.
We could do an RFP, right? Could we do it through an RFP process? That way we could then identify what we would like to see, because then we know what comes back, and then we know what gets funded or doesn't get funded, and then we're not sourcing it, it's coming back to us.
My question is, what do we need to change on what we have? I mean, I have no problem adding to what we have, but do we need to totally redo it? That would be my, I don't see why we need to redo what we've got. If we need to add some stuff on there, you know, like what you guys want or what the council wants, I would have no problem with that. But as far as paying somebody to come in here and completely revamp the thing, I don't really, I guess I really don't understand why we would waste money on something that we already have, but we need to add to that. What do we need to add to that? That would be my question to the people on the council, the people on the commissioners. Why don't we make a list of what we need to add to our comprehensive plan? And then let's go from there, from you, from Heather, from me, from the council members, on exactly what we need to add to our comprehensive plan, and then let's look at it like that.
Yeah, I guess revamp maybe wouldn't be the word of making sure that we are current. You know, like any new technology or any industrial use that's come about that maybe we didn't account for, or maybe we don't foresee, you know, that way we're not, it's not every 3 years we have to redo it. There's some language that's maybe, you know, it goes the old adage of you don't know what you don't know, right? Like having some kind of outside source that says, hey, we've seen this, and this is something that, you know, you could avoid a pitfall, really.
I would feel more comfortable having our county attorney look at that and charge us for that than bringing an outside entity in. Am I wrong there?
What if I asked this? Could we have our economic development director at our next meeting present why a county reviews and renews their comprehensive plan and what that looks like?
I got a
Christine?
problem with that.
Is that something that you could do a presentation so our county taxpayers understand why we need to redo our comprehensive plan? You know, prior to 2021, which was done in-house, the comprehensive plan had not been reviewed since
96?
That was the original.
Okay.
I want to say '02.
For one time, I don't know.
And I'm looking at this document from Purdue. And I know that I read it prior to today, but I like to quote facts instead of Heather's opinion. It states that counties should renew and review on a minimum of every 5 years. But Christie, maybe you can help.
Certainly. I'll put that together for next meeting.
Is that acceptable to?
You want to amend your motion to, well, I guess we don't have to table it if there's nothing that's up for new business.
For a report. The idea behind a comprehensive plan really is, sure, certain areas are zoned for residential or commercial or industrial, but as a long-term, our plan is to have this particular area be more commercial, or this particular area be more industrial. And we just had an example, right, where there was a rezoning. It's currently zoned residential. A common question that I assume, I was not at the plan commission meeting, but I assume one of the things that they looked at or discussed is, what does our comprehensive plan say? Do we project this area to be more industrial or not, right? That sort of thing is what you look for. It can help inform matters like rezoning. I know there are some grants, et cetera, that ask that question occasionally too.
The Office of Community and Rural Affairs has a
Right.
minimum technical standard for county comprehensive plans to apply for state grants.
Right. Not all grants, but some do, that being a prominent example, so.
Bring him in.
Who?
Bring her in to do our next.
We can
Yep.
ask her.
Yep.
You know, I think think that this also helps when we're putting in roads, like we're fortunate enough to help with the Wayman property. It helps us to utilize our tax dollars in the proper areas along with this rezoning issue that is, we're a representation of our taxpayer and their dollars. Thank you, Christie.
All right, anything else?
Yes. We have a building inspector who has use of a vehicle that sometimes needs to be used in other areas. How do we want that vehicle to be represented? I know that it was the surveyor's truck that we transferred it from the Department of the Surveyor over to our building inspector to use to view his projects, permits,
Whenever we hired him, we told him that the assessor would have to use it on certain times.
Yeah, I think that was in the language, and
That
I've
was
gone back,
what we
but
did.
I think
I
that was the
mean,
language of the motion,
yeah.
was when we transferred to surveyor, it's that use plus, we would have some department, because I think at that time we also thought maybe, food inspection could have been as a part of that, assessor could have been a part of that, I think we covered it in the language.
Excuse me, Jim. Right now, because I've worked in the same two offices, the Great City and the building inspector, he is out a lot. And he goes out a lot. I don't know that that one truck would even do for both of them without, and assessor doesn't use it as much. You're limiting him to be in an office all day, and we've got a lot of buildings going up.
Well, he could use his personal vehicle still, and then.
Well, but I thought that was a big deal. You couldn't use your personal vehicle because y'all wouldn't cover the insurance.
I don't think that was.
No,
I mean,
that's
what.
And I know the highway department, we've used vehicles for that, and I know we're short on vehicles right now, aren't we?
Yeah, I got 2 pickups broke down right now. So, yeah, it's.
Because Tammy uses her personal
Or I
vehicle,
would,
correct?
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, I know the assessor didn't, but they were told they couldn't drive theirs. I use mine, you don't pay if something happens, I'll pay for it. Because I don't go out that often, just when I get a complaint, but I can't really plan that. I just go when something happens.
Right.
Well, we have our insurance person sitting right behind you there,
I was
so.
talking about this yesterday. So the liability, you guys had to hire down, coverage in your policy, your liability is covered. After Mac and I talked yesterday, I did send an email to Astra because my concern is the employee's actual vehicle. And I think that's where there's going to be a little bit of gray area, and I'm trying to I'll get you guys a little bit more information on that. So the liability is covered, the employee's actual car is what my concern is.
Right.
So.
And then because of that, some people don't want to drive their car.
I guess where I was going with this is we need to have some type of a scheduling system, so the assessor, if she were to schedule her reviews on site with the same understanding of the time of year for the building inspector, how do we want to handle that if we're sharing a vehicle? That's my question.
Well, I think that's the tough part, because their busiest times are at the
I
same
get
time.
it. I'm just bringing the question.
My question to our insurance lady would be, is this something that we could use one of the sheriff's vehicles?
That's what I was going to say.
County
Why don't
vehicle is
we-
always gonna be ideal over an employee's vehicle.
Why don't we have a little discussion with our sheriff and let's see if we can't get the use of one of the sheriff's vehicles when we're in this type of situation. What do y'all think about that?
I don't think it's a bad idea to figure out what vehicles
You're talking about a
are
decommissioned, or
available.
you're talking about a current,
Whatever it might be.
decommissioned vehicle?
I would think one that we currently have. I mean, for example, they've used the highways vehicle in the past. We have the building inspector's vehicle. We just need to have a plan of action for these folks when they need a vehicle.
Scott, leave.
I mean, basically what it's gonna come down to is we're gonna have to get something that's sustainable
Right.
for use, so we have an extra vehicle.
Because we've toyed with the idea of a decommissioned sheriff's vehicle that is in good enough shape, because I think the assessor said, you know, they just need to put around, they're no,
Yeah.
So-
And so far, we haven't come up with that.
Well-
everything's been in really bad shape,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we also have soil and water's vehicle that can be used. We just need to realize what vehicles we have. So in the assessor's situation to schedule being out, she can schedule that time possibly with soil and water. I think we just need to know what vehicles are the vehicles that can be used by each department and make sure that we can schedule ahead.
I will call the sheriff and ask her about vehicles. You wanna call soil and water?
I've got them as a list. Melissa, do you manage the list of the vehicles for each department, or
You have a
Mindy?
list. Mindy's got a list.
Mindy. And then, you know, like, for example, we also need to verify what vehicles need to stay as not a take-home vehicle. If you are taking your vehicle home, I'll use soil and water as an example, I'm not sure that they do. But if they were to have that as their employee vehicle, there are also taxes that are required for the daily use of that vehicle. Like, I know that when you have lended your vehicle to the assessor, then that excuses those days that you're charging the tax, correct?
That is correct, because they are not taking the vehicle home. We do have employees that have take-home vehicles, and they are charged dollars a day that I turn in quarterly to the auditor's office. That has to come out of their.
So I think that's part of this also, that we need to make sure we capture those folks that are taking vehicles in the, so how would we verify? Do you have a list of that that's turned in to the auditor's office?
Department's heads should have that.
Department heads do.
So we'll have that for the next meeting.
I've got a question, but it doesn't pertain to anything, so I will email you.
And I do have a response from Asher, but I've got
Okay.
a follow-up question back to them about this exact situation, well, about employees using their personal vehicles. I think I know what they're gonna.
That's what my
tell me,
question
but
pertains to, but well, yeah, I'll follow up with you.
I want to confirm before I say for sure, so.
All right, anything else?
Yeah, one more. This is it. So I would like to ask that we schedule an executive session for Monday, June the 8th, 8 a.m., to discuss an EDA for the upcoming public hearing with Tenasca for council.
Second.
Is that, can we do that?
You can for an economic development project like that, yeah.
Does it fall under the contract, the IC contract language?
It falls under the IC because we're discussing an industry.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion.
What time did you say?
I guess I should ask, is everyone available at 8
No, that's
a.m.
fine. I just-
Monday?
Yes.
Is coming Monday?
Yes.
This is commissioners only.
Yes.
Yes.
At what time?
8. Does that work for you? Or do you want to go earlier?
8 in the morning?
Yeah.
What about everybody that works?
I don't work.
What do you mean?
You work?
No, I don't work at all.
Well, I mean, what time works good for you?
It needs to be in the evening so everybody can make it.
Okay. So what time are you available for
I
an evening?
have no idea. I work till dark. So whatever you all figure your time out and I'll work around it.
Do you wanna go before 8 AM? I mean, do you wanna start early in the
8
morning?
AM, I start at 5. 8 AM, I mean, you've got several people on the council that work. You've got,
It's only the commissioners.
huh?
It's only us three. It's not the council.
How come the council's not involved?
Because at EDA, it's a discussion to develop a plan from the commissioners. It's an economic development plan. It's
If you all
not,
want to go at 8, I'll try to make it.
We could go earlier, we could go later, what,
No, I mean.
8 AM?
I think he was thinking of the
Evenings are
council.
evenings are my best, but if you guys want to go at 8 on Monday, if both of you want to do that, I'll adopt.
Josh, does that work for you?
What works for you, Josh?
I can make that work in the morning, whenever. And just to be clear, this is for negotiations with an industrial prospect for, commercial economic development project.
All right. We have a motion. Is that a motion?
I'll make the motion for the executive session.
Second? You got a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
All those opposed? All right.
So 8 AM.
8 AM, Monday, June the 8th.
Sent you a calendar invite.
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
We have a motion to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you all very much.
Got a little warm over here.
This is how are you doing?